exact quote from you. Let me record so we don't miss anything. Well, we did already have a full conversation before this for like a good 10 minutes.
As per usual.
Welcome back to the Hot Heel Girl podcast.
We're excited you're here,
I
spending
know.
another Monday with us or whatever day you're listening.
We're actually recording on the right day this time.
We're
I know it's wild because we always release podcasts on Monday and we're finally recording on a Monday, which we usually record on Fridays.
Yeah, we recorded on Monday last week too, but with the holidays, our
Oh, yeah. It
schedule
was the
has
weirdest.
gotten a little
And then with your birthday
pushed
coming up,
around.
bum, bum, bum. So your birthday is
I
already
have
going to be
one more
past.
week.
Your birthday's going to be
It'll be
past when this
it'll
comes
be
out.
my yeah, depending on when this edits, but we do have another podcast in between.
In
But
between.
yeah,
But
one week from
if
today is my
if you
birthday.
miss it, wish Em a happy belated birthday because December 5th is her birthday.
I have one more week of being 27.
Chill. What's 365 days of difference?
I don't know, this year a lot.
Why? You changed a lot?
I feel like I did.
You're not pregnant, are you? Just kidding. Tell me about how you've
I
changed.
certainly hope not. Um, well, I got married, so I feel
I
like
mean, yeah, that's a big
that
change.
kind of changed. Um, I don't know, I feel like I've aged this year,
I get that. I've 100% aged this year.
mentally and physically,
Emotionally. I've
emotionally.
seen more things.
I've seen more things. Yeah.
How have you
Emotionally, sometimes
physically aged this year?
I don't know. I just feel like I've noticed more physical differences, mostly with like aches and pains. Everybody tells you when you get to like 30, like your back starts to hurt, but my back has just been, I don't know, there's something going on with my back, and it's probably emotions. I don't know.
Ooh, is it in the low
But
back? Is it the kidneys?
it was so actually like the past week I've been dealing with weird back pain, but I've had chronic back pain for a while, and it's like right in my upper left shoulder blade. But lately it's been kind
Okay.
of lower, like kind of around the kidneys
Mm.
in the past couple weeks. So yeah, I'm kind of figuring all that out.
I listen to Wayne Dyer a lot and like he's passed now, so obviously, but he's a lot about like, law of attraction and like belief and all that stuff. And he always talks about his mom would put into the universe that she was never gonna get Alzheimer's. And I was like, the thing they tell you about that though is you don't say that you're never gonna get something because then it manifests whether it's a positive or a negative belief. That's what I the reason I'm saying this is that's what I think about when people are like, when you're old, you get aches and pains. And I'm like, chill. Like, don't get me wrong. I get it. Like, the body physically ages. So, of course, things aren't going to work the same way they always did. But, like, if
Mm-hmm.
you constantly believe your body's going to break down, then guess what? Maybe
Yeah.
it will.
Yeah. And
Sorry.
see, I've never thought that. So like when I get all of a sudden hit with aches and pains, I'm like, what the heck is going on?
You're like, the heck? Yeah, I
Yeah.
get it. I had like low back issues at one point. Then I went to the chiropractor for a while and then I stopped going and like now they're slightly coming back. So I think that just means I need to start going back to the chiropractor. It's not free anymore because it was free through insurance. So,
Mm,
so that was why I stopped going when I got off my own insurance and I got onto my partner's.
yeah.
That's life.
My Chiro doesn't take insurance, which
So,
I mean, like, good for her because, then she can control everything that she wants to do.
yeah.
But yeah, I have an appointment on Friday, so
He
we
sent
shall
out an
see.
email to me and was like, "You've been here once this year. Do you want to come back?" Pretty much. And I was like, "Ooh, called out. I should totally schedule an appointment." I didn't realize it
Yeah.
only been once. Well, you win
I
some, you lose some.
love the chiropractor. Love
I
it.
did for a while. And then they, like, the one guy, like, they got a new chiropractor to help because there were just too many clients there all the time.
Hmm.
And he like cracked me really wrong and like in my neck. And so I've already been like as a child, we went to the chiropractor and I never let them crack my neck because it freaked me the heck out. And I have let them since I'm an adult. But
Hmm.
I like couldn't move my neck well for like a day and a half. And then it was like fine again. So I was like, I'm definitely now a little bit scared of my chiropractor because his peer broke me for a second.
My chiropractor said that they're supposed to ask you every single time if they can
Oh,
crack your neck. Like
they don't
legally,
ask every time. Ooh.
they're supposed to ask you.
They asked like the first couple of times, but yeah, they don't. Cause my, the like activator, the little gun thing, whatever.
Hmm.
When I was younger, that's what they would just use on my neck. And they're like, we're not going to be able to do as much since we can only use this. And I'm like, I literally don't care. Like, don't crack my neck.
Hmm.
But I decided since I'm no longer a child, I can't get away with it. And I'm going to allow myself to get my neck cracked because I know it's good for me.
Yeah, mine does. I love my chiropractor I have now. Um, I've only been going to her like little over a year and a half, but I love her because she's really good.
I love
And she
that.
does like the myofascial release kind of
Mm.
with the like she'll release your muscles first before she adjusts them. And then she also does the dry needling too.
I really want dry needling done. I tried to find a bunch of places, and apparently, in the state of Delaware, you need a doctor's note in order to get dry needling, which I hate for me.
Even like from a chiropractor since they're technically a
I guess
doctor.
it's not from my chiropractor. I was looking into other places and they said I would need a doctor's note, but none
Mm,
of them were doctors. So probably not a chiropractor. My chiropractor doesn't do that.
okay. Yeah. I don't know. I only know of like three people where I live that do it,
Yeah.
and she's one of them. But she's like pretty much the only person that I feel like I would trust.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause I
Just
was looking
because
into doing it at a PT because I was like, they know what they're doing probably. But they were like,
Mhm.
we need a doctor's note. And I was like, I don't got a doctor.
Can you sign one for yourself?
I know. I'm like, I don't have doctors.
Yeah. It's
Bugs.
a weird dry needling's weird.
Yeah.
It's
Super weird.
it's very if you've never had it done, it's not and this is coming from me, like I hate needles. I cannot stand needles. They like make my insides feel all weird and but you actually don't even really feel the needle going in because it is a tiny, tiny,
Yeah.
tiny
It's
needle.
similar to like acupuncture needles.
Yeah. So you don't even really feel it going in. Really, what I feel is when it hits your muscle because they put it into muscle to activate
That's
your
what's different.
muscles,
Yeah.
yeah, and your tendons. So like when it hits your muscle, it'll like make that muscle twitch. And then um so how she does it is, I mean, I'm not even probably not going to explain this correctly because I'm obviously not an expert. And but it's electrical stimulation. So she hooks the needles up to like an electrical stimulator.
Mm,
And so it turns the needle on and there's different levels of like how high you can put it on, but what it does is it's supposed to um increase the muscle like activation, like doing its job. And she
mm-hmm.
said something last time I did it, something about knack. I think it increases like the knack flow to the muscle.
Mm,
And so it's like basically returning your muscle on that hasn't been activating the way it's supposed to.
I love
And
that.
because I had a really bad spot in my lower back that I did something when I was lifting and I could like barely walk out of the gym. I could feel it. There was like, I don't know if it was like a knot or like a nerve or some type of tendon that had just kind of like popped out. And so she did the dry needling. I had like 6 needles in my butt and was like
Oh my
jiggling
gosh.
around, but it feels much better now. So,
Yeah, I like really wanted it for my rotator cuff because I still don't know what I did to this day. It was at Eco, not the most recent one, the one
yeah, I
before. I went
remember.
to a Legree reformer Pilates class and I like I was fine. I showered, I was fine. I walked to Eco and I get there and I could like felt like my shoulder had to pop all day and I kept like trying to pop it and then I left and I could barely lift my arm above my shoulder.
Mm,
And so what I heard from it, but no one ended up MRIing me because I didn't want to pay the money. And like I went to like multiple different professionals and everyone just said it was a muscular thing. Like my PT, well, actually my PT is my boyfriend's uncle, but he is a PT. And so he was like checking me out. And so were all the chiropractors at Eco, which was great being
mm,
around all those chiropractors. And everyone was just saying it seemed like a muscular thing. Like it didn't seem like I dislocated my shoulder or anything. And they were like, yeah, I think it's just like a couple of those muscles around the rotator cuff, like rest it, which was like fine and dandy, but it still bothers me sometimes. And it's been like almost a full, actually, it's been a full year because it
mhm,
was Halloween last year. So I wanted to get dry needling in it because I was like, maybe some of it's not firing the way it should. That's why, like, I've never been able to build the muscle fully back up.
mhm.
I don't know. And they were all like, that's such a good idea, but you need a doctor's note. And I was like, well, screw it. I don't
It
have a doctor.
surprises me that there's no one up there by you. It seems like there would be.
One would hope,
Yeah.
but so I just, it sounds similar to stim. Like my chiropractor does stim, like where they just do the little electrodes or whatever, and they like
Hmm.
stimulate the muscles there and make you twitch. And I used to get that
Yeah.
done in high school because
Yeah.
we are.
I think the needling probably goes a little bit
Oh no, it's definitely better.
deeper.
Yeah,
Yeah, because it's actually triggering the muscle, but yeah. It's
they're trying to do the same
it's
thing.
weird.
Our athletic trainer in high school, if you ever went to him, the only thing he would either tell you was take an ice bath or do stim. So like I did stim all the time on my low back just because it was like take an ice bath, do stim, and I'm like, all right, whatever you say, you're the adult. So I remember everyone be like, I don't even know if like it's actually helping because that's all he tells us. And I'm like, because that's kind of all he can tell us. He sees a lot of people. He just goes down the line. Not like you need to know about me in high school. Going to the athletic trainer. That's what they're there for. Give you stim, give you ice baths. All right. Did you get anything for Black Friday? I know this is way past it when it comes out, but I need to know.
I got an air purifier. I'm
Was it an air
very
doctor or did you get a
excited.
different one?
I was gonna get an air doctor, and then I was like, went down the rabbit hole of researching all the air purifiers, as one does.
Of course.
Because obviously the air doctor, and this is no hate if you have an air doctor, I think they're really, really good. I think they're amazing. Courtney has one. I think they're amazing. Um, but I ultimately ended up going with this other brand just because it's the same thing as the air doctor, except it releases like the negative ions
I like
into
that.
the air. And so that can actually like go into your home and like trap particles like mold particles or something, because the air purifier is only going to trap it like if it's floating through the air, whereas the negative ions will go out into the air and they just, will however they work, they just trap onto the bad
They
particles.
go in the air, they trap.
I'm not a scientist. I don't know,
I mean, I couldn't
guys.
have said it any better. I'm just cracking up the way you're saying it. Yeah, I love my air doctor. Mostly it's like, because some people will ask me, they'll be like, if I'm living in mold, like, do I get an air doctor? And I'm like, it can help, but the ones that help the most are the hypo airs. Like, I don't find the air doctors are like, they're mostly for just like other air pollution and stuff. Like, again, this is a personal thing. Never helped with mold for me. Never helped with
Hmm.
mold. It's
Yeah.
fine. No issues there, but like it doesn't really help with mold. Helps a lot of other stuff, helps with all the other junk in our air, but I like mine. So this isn't really any hate on it.
Yeah. I did see a company that this I thought was really cool. You can actually attach it to your HVAC system.
Ooh.
And so, and it wasn't incredibly expensive. Like, you know how you see some of those big air
Yeah.
purifiers, like they're for the whole home and they're just like crazy expensive, like 5 grand or more. This one, I think, was under 2,000, somewhere between 1 to 2,000. And you basically just need an electrician. And some people even said they did it themselves, but you just attach it to your HVAC system, like the main filter head where all the air
Mhm.
flows out, and it filters and purifies your air through
Oh, I
there. And a
like
lot of
that.
people were saying that was good for mold.
Yeah,
Like
that
they were
sounds
saying
great.
that there was a couple of people that said that they just like weren't able to move out of mold and stuff. And they're like, I'm pretty sure this filter like saved my life. So
I would imagine. Yeah, because that's the
yeah.
problem when people aren't able to move out of mold. Like Whenever I found out it was mold, it was only a couple months before my lease was up anyways. So it just,
Hmm.
you don't move it. You just keep going. You move to the next place.
Yeah.
But I, so that like for me, air purifiers didn't do anything. We tried, like I said, the hypo airs I've heard are really good too, but it's like they're small. So, I mean, they have the big ones too, but most people have like the small ones in their bathroom, which is good for that. But I love that. That's a good idea. Do you know the company name or not remember?
Let me see if I think I followed them. See if I can find it.
Keep tabs, keep tabs. I have the Therasage Ozone Machine, like not the bubbler, the mini one, because I like it when traveling because of the negative ions. It does that too. And because I travel and mold is everywhere, and I just want to make it a little bit more hospitable for my lungs and stuff, my body. We don't love mold here. Does anyone? I also, so we were talking about the power of belief. I'm going to keep going while you're looking because
Okay.
otherwise there's just going to be us like sitting here staring at each
Okay,
other for a
wait, I
couple of
think I found
minutes.
it. Yeah.
Okay.
So it is the hypo air, actually.
Is it? Hyper
Yeah.
is really good.
Yeah, so it's the whole home, and the price shows that it ranges from 700 to 1800.
Yeah, and they have like a bunch of mini ones that I know people will either take with them traveling or put in their bathroom if they have moldy bathrooms, and they're
Yeah,
really
I
good
think
for
that's how
mold.
I found them was I saw the mini one and I was
Yeah,
like, "Ooh, I should get that." But yeah, this is just it's the whole home. You install it on your HVAC and
I love that. Those
yeah,
are
it
really
looks
good for
really
mold,
good.
so that makes sense to me. I was
Hmm.
between a mini one of those and the Therasage Ozone one that I got, but then I wanted the Ozone because Ozone's good for mold, like kill like internal instead of just like putting it in the room. Like you can breathe it in.
Yeah.
Not like you can with the hypo air, but you get what I'm saying. More of a
Hmm.
dual purpose. I was just thinking, because this is not to call anyone out, but like some people will like put in their Instagram bios or stuff like moldy or limey or thing like that, like endo warrior. And I'm like, hear me out. If you always call yourself someone who has Lyme or has mold or has something, like, then you're never going to be able to heal with it because you identify with it.
Hmm.
I was just thinking that as we were talking about mold because I was like, so many people say like moldy, limey, and I'm like, stop.
Yeah. Also, I think some people like subconsciously don't want to heal because that is their
Yep.
identifying thing as a person. And
Oh,
it like if
100%.
they lost that, then where would they go or where would they be? You know, it's that like getting out of your comfort zone thing because
Yeah.
that's all they know. And they're like, where would I go if I wasn't this sick person?
That was like a challenge for me because I didn't identify with it consciously, like subconsciously. Like I was always down the rabbit hole and always trying to heal myself. And so one of my favorite exercises is having someone like name out all the reasons that like you don't want to heal. And initially that triggers everyone. They're like, of course I want to heal. What are you talking about? But like my favorite one is, well, this is what I resonated with, right? Like I always had excuses to get out of things I didn't want to go to. And then I just had to own up that I didn't
Hmm.
want to do shit. And then having an excuse was great. And now I just own up that I don't want to freaking go.
Yep.
But it's like, it's a really subtle mindset shift. Or like some people have financial compensation. Some people don't want to work. They just want to be a stay at home, whatever they are. And this is their excuse right now, like those
Hmm.
sorts of things. And it's just like recognizing it and then realizing that you need to just change that shift in your mindset and change that shift in your actions instead of being like, oh, I can't go. I'm sick. I'm like, oh, sorry. I don't want to go. I started changing that and like things changed so much for me because I was like, wow, I really love having an excuse.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
love not
Hmm.
having to do things. But then I was like, F it. I don't care anymore. Like,
Yeah. I
but
think that's a big thing for a lot of people
a
is
lot of
having that
people,
excuse.
yeah, it's just having an excuse to not do things or being last minute getting to cancel on someone. Oh no, my stomach's upset, that sort of thing. Right.
Yep.
And I just stopped lying about it or stopped saying things like that. And I just started telling people I didn't want to go before it got to it. I was like, if I don't want to do this, I'm not going to do it. And it's just going to help me continue to manifest this emotional healing, which it
Yep.
did.
Hmm.
And I also think that, like, right, some people, I know no one wants to admit this either, but I will. I manifested a lot of the chronic illness I had because I there was a point in time when I was struggling with all these gut issues. And I was like, I just wish it was something physical because no one knows what I'm going through. Everyone thinks I'm fine. They think I'm this healthy person and they think I'm BSing them all the time.
Mm-hmm.
People were like, yeah, yeah, you're fine. And I'm like, I literally shit my pants every day. I don't know what to tell you. But then I got a full body rash. Way to go. Manifestation. We love that for me. And everyone looked at me and was like, oh my God, are you okay? Like that was their first reaction because it was just eczema like rash everywhere. And I was like, dang, I really manifested this. And then we got rid of that. And I was like, yay, we're healed. And like, I was seeing, and this was me scrolling through Instagram, seeing other people talk about their health story. And I'm like, sometimes I wish I had something like big to talk about, like Lyme, like something big that like it seems like you really conquered something. And like, I remember this being a subconscious thought and then me being like, no, 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 we don't want that. We don't want that at all. We're not putting that into the universe. But like, dude, the power of the things you think, it's real.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I didn't manifest Lyme. I had Lyme since I was 7 years old. Nothing changed in that time frame, right? Like it wasn't, but finding out that I had it and like figuring out all this stuff, like it, and it was because I was already in like a vulnerable place, right? Like I was already struggling with my health, but like I just wanted to be able to like not prove it to people, but kind of like
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want everyone just thinking I was fine all the time when I felt like garbage and like thinking that I was just lying to them and thinking that I was just making up excuses when like your girl was unwell. But then here we are now. I'm like, I don't need any of those excuses anymore. I will tell you to your face, I don't want to go to your party.
See, she's emotionally healed now.
We fixed that. I had someone tell me the other day that my throat chakra is super open. And I was like, I think it's from all those years of having to talk stream of consciousness into a mic for like fitness coaching, where you just get used to like talking about everything. And they were like, you really think so? And I'm like, oh, you've never taught a class for 50 minutes straight where you barely take a breath.
I can see that coming out in the podcasting where you're just like, and you just keep going.
That's that's literally exactly what it is. Like obviously it's not this, I don't hold a mic up to my mouth, but it's like the headset and you just talk and then you take a breath and you keep going with the next sentence and it never stops for 50 minutes. It's a lot of energy. I
I
loved
couldn't
it,
do
but it was
that.
so much energy.
I couldn't do that. I don't have that much energy.
Because
My
and
energy is very reserved.
that's the thing, like you need a, and I never really learned how to rein my energy in, right? Because a lot of people like every class for me was like up here, and a lot of people like they're at this rate because then they can keep it going and it's more sustainable for them. And I never learned how to do that. I was like, it's all or nothing. But yeah, so that was how I manifested my chronic illness. In case you were wondering, and dude, the brain's powerful thing. They say like, I think it's 95% of our thoughts are ruled by the subconscious. So only five are the actual conscious.
Hmm.
That's a lot.
Yeah, brain stuff is wild.
I know. The brain's always
Emotion
wild
stuff
to
is
me.
wild.
I know. I agree. Because I've gone through the ringer with all that stuff again. Never had to heal emotionally. I was like, I'm fine. Me and like my partner, he's gone through a lot of stuff recently too, having to heal emotionally. And it's just so wild to see how the brain works. So he's doing neurofeedback right now. He got like a brain map. So they just like test where it's at right now with the eyes closed, eyes open, like to see what's more inflamed, what's working harder, whatever. And their exact reaction was like, you know, I've never seen someone with this level of brain inflammation like in this pattern. They're like, your brain's like pretty exhausted, but it's like still chugging along, the little engine that could. He won't even like be mad that I'm saying this because he's like, yeah, I've trained my brain for this. We're prepared. I was like, it's tired. Give it a rest. And he's like, no, it's just it would keep going, little guy.
I feel like I can relate to that.
Yeah, he could too. Cause he's also like, I mean, most of us chronic overthinker, like has been his whole life very much like a head case. Sorry, love you, Dan. You're a head case and you know it. But that's why it was not surprising. He's like, yeah, I'm a head case. Like it's just there, it's a battle up here. It's always fights. So I'm enjoying like neurofeedback, just like watching it from, you know, a perspective of someone who's not doing it and seeing how things are shifting, and like he's getting a lot deeper sleep, which I love. We love that. They say like that's one of the most immediate things, you usually get deeper sleep.
Hmm.
And then I'm curious because after they do a brain remapping after 20 sessions, like I want to see how different it looks. I'm excited. He also had like 3 concussions as a kid. And I was like, don't you know that that's bad for your brain? Like after 2, you're supposed to quit sports. And he's like, yeah, I was fine. I'm like, no, clearly not. Like she literally was like, you have some brain trauma. I'm like, I get it. You played football, but like chill. It was
Football
like,
players don't care.
idiot. Sorry. I was so dumb. It's not worth it. It's not like he went anywhere to play football for college. You know what I mean? Like that was just fun.
Hmm.
Not worth it. Not in my opinion.
No,
And
I just don't like football that much, but
me neither. Have you ever
whatever.
gotten a concussion?
Nope.
Me neither. I didn't play
Mm,
very contact sports, right? I played volleyball or softball. Got whacked in the head with volleyballs all the time. Got nailed in the head with a softball once, but like I never got concussed. Probably
yeah,
from throwing that hard.
I've been pretty lucky when it comes to bodily harm growing up. So, never broke anything, never sprained
Heck
anything.
yeah. I only I tore my meniscus. That was the only thing I did. And then this rotator cuff injury in this past year. And then the only time, like I said, I got whacked in the head with softball, but like I had a helmet on and I like went to the ground and we were scrimmaging. So it was like within our teams, right? It was everyone scrimmaging each other. And the coach
Hmm.
comes up to me and he's like, are you okay? Can you say your name? Where are you? And I'm like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And he's like, what'd you have for breakfast? So it's like 10 a.m. on a Saturday. And I'm like, a baked potato. And he's like, I think you're not okay. And I'm like, no, I literally had a baked potato for breakfast. Call my mom. And he was like, who has that for breakfast? And I'm like, okay, stop judging my breakfast choices. Like, this is about if I'm concussed or not.
That's too funny.
My mom used to give us baked potatoes all the time for meals. She would just either lather them in butter or lather them in cheese because she's like, it's so easy. You put, I mean, microwave. We did that. But she's like, you put it in the microwave, it's 5 minutes. And then, like, she's not wrong. I love a
That
baked
was
potato.
honestly, that was our dinner like on Sundays a lot. We just had
Baked
baked
potatoes.
potatoes and like with like you with butter and like salad with olive oil dressing. So yeah,
Yeah, we
that was a
always would have
staple
like,
Sunday dinner.
I love baked potatoes. I had them for probably too much when I had them for lunch almost every day in 3rd grade. Like, tell me why, but like we had baked potatoes for lunch all the time. We ate weird
Yeah.
food because I didn't really like lunch meat at the time. Yeah, that's it. And then we didn't eat peanuts because my sister is very allergic to peanuts, like anaphylactic allergic. So that was just not a thing. Peanut butter and jelly. I feel like that's probably why I don't like peanuts now.
Peanuts are just not good. I've never understood the obsession. People are just like, yeah, I want to eat a bag of peanuts.
I
I'm like,
like
okay.
when they're salted, they just taste like salted nuts. A lot of times there's no difference in a flavor profile when they're just super salted. You know what I mean? So like I
Hmm.
could be eating cashews, I could be eating sunflower seeds, I could be eating peanuts. I don't really even know the difference.
I mean, there's a little bit of a difference, but
But you get what I'm saying. For the
yeah, I
most
get what
part,
you're
it's not
saying.
that crazy.
My
Like, yeah,
favorite
there's
is
still a difference.
pecans to eat because they're a little bit sweet. Pecans and cashews. I feel
I like
like
cashews. I like macadamia nuts.
that's
They're
true. I
kind
do
of
like
sweet
those.
and
Yeah.
fatty.
Yeah.
But you can't have too many of them because then you're like, ooh, can't have any more macadamia nuts.
I feel like it goes that way with a lot of nuts, though.
That's also fair
Not
because
too
they're so
many.
fatty. Yeah. I can't say I've ever like enjoyed eating almonds. Like I like
Um,
almond things. I like almond butter, but like I've never enjoyed sitting there eating a couple handfuls of almonds.
never been a fan of almonds or almond butter or I don't know.
You know,
I
it's
will.
funny because why are we talking? We're talking about nut butter, but I was like, I want to talk about sleep today. Have we gotten anywhere near sleep? No, we have not.
You said that Dan's sleep got better. That's the
It did.
closest we
That was
got.
that was something. Okay, I said the word sleep at least. That's like He did struggle with sleep a lot, and I think some of it had to do with physical health, some of it had to do with emotional health, and so maybe you need to address your emotional health if you're not sleeping good. Maybe it's physical health. A lot of people I see with mold, it's super super common with mold, or obviously parasites.
Hmm. My sleep got so much better after doing parasite cleansing. Like I had very bad insomnia before
Ooh.
I was parasite cleansing. And that was pre like knowing anything about parasites at all. So I just
Oh,
didn't connect it to parasites at all. And I was like trying everything under the sun. And parasite cleansing is the thing that
do you
works.
sleep pretty normal now?
Yeah, I sleep pretty normal now.
I got up at 3:30 a.m. today. So today was
On purpose.
I mean, I didn't choose to. I did go to bed at 8 p.m. last night, like knocked
Mm.
out 8 p.m. So that was 7.5 hours. And then I couldn't get back to sleep. So I was like, what a bummer. So this coffee's keeping me feeling good. And that's why I don't go to bed at 8 p.m. because then I get up at like 4 and I'm ready to go because that's 8 hours.
I've never had that problem. Like I can sleep. I will sleep until the sun starts peeking in.
I'm just an early riser. Like it's just like the 8 hours, and then my body's like, hello, good morning, wake up. And I'm like, okay, let's start the day. But like it's 3:30 in the morning. I can't even go to the gym yet.
I wish I was like that. I really, really do. But I've never been that way. I can sleep and sleep and sleep and sleep. I will
Sleeping in
say
for
I
me.
feel best on 7.5 hours. Like my body
Mm,
sometimes will naturally wake up
okay.
at about 7.5 hours. And then if I don't go back to sleep, I feel really good.
I love that. I actually like don't feel usually. So I was having sleep issues when I was having anxiety in my life, which was just, external stressors. Like for me, it wasn't any health stuff. It was just like I was stressed
Hmm.
about job stuff. But so I would wake up at 2 and 3 like clockwork. And it was like I'd wake up feeling like garbage and all that stuff, obviously, because I didn't get like a lot of sleep. But I feel pretty fine today. I think it's because it was literally 7.5 hours. Like I get it. It was early and like maybe I'll crash like a lot earlier than I would have, but like I feel all right.
Hmm.
But recently I've been like on Saturday, I literally fell asleep on the couch at 7:30. I was trying so hard to stay awake. I was like, what is going on in my body? Why am I falling asleep at 8 p.m.? I think it's because dark for so long.
Yeah, I think so too. Because I was the same. I was because Reed's out of town hunting right now, so it's just me and the dogs. And so
Oh.
I was watching The Crown on Saturday
Oh,
night, and I like straight up passed out for an episode and a half.
yeah. It's okay. I accept it. I also will openly say that like I'm classically conditioned as a human. Like when it gets dark out, I start to get sleepy. So I don't really like night driving because I just get really sleepy.
Mm,
But every time Dan's trying to like get me to fall asleep because obviously, like, we look out for each other. He's like, yeah, we're gonna put you to sleep. He'll just turn out the lights and I'll be like, I'm like, stop doing that to me. He's like, I know what to do. I make it dark out. I'm like, why? Why does my body just say darkness equals sleep? I mean, I'm not against it, but like
yeah,
sometimes it's
I
slightly
feel like that's
inconvenient.
that's good. It's better
Um,
than being wide awake.
yeah, I've
But
never not been okay with being a sleepy girl. I like being a sleepy girl. I'm cool with it. We love sleep.
yeah, I love my sleep.
Me
My
too.
sleep has been amazing. Both Breed out of town. My sleep score went from like 68 to 100 real
Didn't you
quick.
say because he snores?
He doesn't snore. He doesn't sleep as much as me. So
Mm,
like he is a 6 hour sleep guy.
mm-mm.
That's what he's like, that's what I function on. That's what I like. And so he goes to sleep pretty much at midnight, sleeps from like midnight to 6:30. And so
I don't endorse this. Courtney does not endorse this message.
I don't endorse it either, but he needs to hear it from someone else.
Good. Because, okay. So I also have a book called Why We Sleep. It was in Target years ago. Great book about like actually learning about the science of sleep. Because we all know it's good for us, right? Like you get it. The blood is filtered, then the liver starts to regenerate and pump out toxins. Same for the lymphatic system. You pump a lot when you sleep, pump a lot of toxins out
Mhm.
of your brain. But like more of the science into it is like in that book. So like I'm not convinced that anyone actually like I think you can function on 6 hours of sleep. I'm not convinced that anyone's optimal at 6 hours of sleep. And I think that if you think you are, it's because you haven't trained your body to sleep enough yet.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you think the same thing. That's why I'm like, I don't endorse this message. Sorry, Reed. Love you. I don't endorse it.
Same, but you know, as
Can't
a
change
wife, you
people.
can only tell him so many things
I know.
before you
Yeah.
just like, whatever.
You're like, I'm not trying to nag you, but like sometimes maybe.
Yeah, but yeah. And he's also like a hot sleeper. And
Oh,
so he
me
moves
too.
around a lot. And
You should get,
yeah,
if he's a hot sleeper, you should get him a chili pad for Christmas.
he's already getting things for Christmas.
I
I
mean,
have
it's
thought
like really
about it.
close.
Yeah, I have thought about that. So we'll see. It's an investment, one of those investment things.
It is, but I've heard great things about it. I have
Yeah.
considered it quite a few times, but we end up just like cranking the AC down and like turning the fan on. But I
Hmm.
think when I have a house and it's going to be really expensive to crank the AC down, I probably will get a chili pad because it will be a cheaper option.
Yeah, I agree with that because
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
It's not something that he would want for
Oh,
Christmas, like how you
I
want to
get
get
that.
like
You're like,
fun
you
stuff for
need it, but
Christmas.
yeah,
But
I
yeah,
understand.
because I always joke with him of like all these things. I'll get it for you for Christmas. And he's like, that's not what I want for Christmas.
And you're like, but you'll like it. No, I understand completely. That's okay. One
Yeah.
day, one day you'll like run out of ideas and he won't want anything. And then you'll be like, here we go.
For my sanity, I might need to get it before then, but we'll see.
That too. Yeah, I'm a hot sleeper, so I understand. Like Dan gets bundled up under the covers and the fan is directly on me and still I have to have a leg out.
Yeah, I am a cold sleeper, probably due to hormones, but um
I guess.
yeah, I do like sleeping with him because he keeps me warm. Like
That's
his
what my
heat
mom
will
says about my dad.
radiate off of him, but sometimes he gets too hot and he starts moving around.
Yeah, my mom literally says that about my dad. She because like they're polar opposites, so it works out. I'm the hot sleeper. And I don't think Dan's either, honestly. Like he's pretty fine. He's pretty normal. The reason he bundles under the covers is because I make it so freaking cold. I make it like 65 degrees. So I'm like, we're good. We're golden. He's like, it's a little bit cold. And I'm like, nope. Or sometimes I'll say it's cold and he'll be like, it needs to be this cold right now. So that like when in an hour when you're hotter than this, and I'm like, I know. Because I'll be like, oh my God, why is it so cold in here? I'm like, because of me.
Is it
Me.
preparing for sleep?
Yeah, I know. Gotta do what you gotta do. So yeah, we didn't even really get into sleep at all, but I'm just gonna tell you some things that are good for your sleep. Dude, hacking your circadian rhythm's the best. Getting yourself to fall asleep when it's dark out is the best thing. So waking up and getting morning sunlight, waking up, not looking at your phone, doing all the things. Maybe I love going on a walk when I first wake up.
Hmm.
Or I like to take advantage of the theta state and like so the brain waves, they're like different states or whatever. The theta state is like when you're first falling asleep or you're first waking up, and I love to meditate then because then there's like extra manifestation juice in the world.
Hmm.
And so I like to meditate then. But also I love taking magnesium before bed. Do you do that too?
Yeah,
You
I
take your
take
Pure, right?
yeah, I take my glycinate magnesium.
Yeah, I have
You're a
magnesium
fan of the
glycinate too.
Ned, right?
I got hooked again.
I was thinking yesterday, I was like, I should have gotten some for our trip, but it's a little too late now.
Yeah. I got so also my favorite thing about them is they because their stuff's like a little bit pricier, they do have a lot of samples. Like in the brain blend, they have a sample of it, the hemp oil and the sleep blend. The sleep blend's my favorite for someone that like actually is true insomnia and like as we're working on root causes, needs
Mhm.
something right now. I have multiple clients on it because it's so good. It is like $90, so I get it. It's expensive, but like truly if you're going through melatonin, you're probably going to spend a similar amount in melatonin.
Yeah.
Um it's so good. It's just like herbs and CBN, which is the strain of CBD that is specific for sleep, and then a couple other like sleep blend herbs. And I love it. It's
Mhm.
literally like a drug, but in the best way. When I say that, people get like turned off. They're like, it's like a drug. And I'm like, yeah, but like Benadryl. I'm not talking about like drugs. I'm talking about like, I'm
We
about to fall
don't
asleep and I get woozy. I'm like, whoa.
we don't endorse drugs on this podcast.
No, I'm talking about like Benadryl. We all got different types of drugs we're thinking about, but that's the type of drug I think about because I'm like, when was the last time I had Benadryl? I couldn't tell you. I still have it because like I have slight I haven't had an allergic reaction in a while. I used to be like allergic to some things and like my throat would start to swell and I would just take it so that it didn't like close, even though it's never closed. I never really know. So we just keep it on hand because we don't want to not be able to breathe.
Yeah, I feel like it's not a bad idea to have some. We keep some around for Reed. I've never had an allergic reaction to anything that I know of, but
That's because you grew up as like a goat milk sourdough making child.
yes, it definitely helped.
We
That's
love
for
that for
sure.
you.
We do love that for me.
But I did not grow up as a goat milk sourdough making child. I grew up with like, my mom's going to hate this because I have distinct memories of eating fruit roll ups as a child. She's like, I tried so hard to keep you guys on good foods. And I'm like, yeah, well, you lost the battle to the three children and your husband that didn't back you up.
I mean, hey, she was trying.
She
There's
tried
some
so
moms out
hard.
there that
She
aren't
really
trying.
tried really hard. And that's why I like laugh at her. I'm like, yeah, you did try really hard, but we availed.
As a kid, fruit roll-ups sound a lot better than goat milk, I'm sure.
I still like goat milk only sounds appealing to me now, and fruit roll-ups do not sound appealing to me now. I just think of like chewing all of that, and that just sounds really difficult.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
I saw someone eating gushers the other day, and it was like a full-grown adult, and I was like, I can't imagine chewing on a gusher right now. Like that just sounds like a lot. And I don't know if that's a me thing because like I'm extra anal about my teeth now, but I just don't want to chew on that stuff. It takes forever.
I don't know if I've ever had a gusher, to be honest with you.
Honestly, it's for the betterment of your whole entire body. I have been eating the Yum Earth candy canes a bunch because I've always loved a candy cane. They're minty. You break them in little pieces, you just throw them in your mouth. It's great. And I bought
Hmm.
them to put in gifts and put in stockings. So if you're a loved one of mine, just ignore this part of the episode because I did not buy it for you, but now it's all mine. I bought the mini ones, which is even worse because like you can just have like three
They're so
bites.
cute. Yeah.
Because I bought it to put in gifts.
Hmm.
I don't know if there's going to be any left for gifts by the time it comes around, but all my gifts are wrapped. What am I talking about? And under the tree.
You put them as the little tag with the little tag.
Ooh, I like that. I I put some in stockings too.
Yeah. I like cute tags. So I'm always thinking of like, what can I put on the
That's cute.
little
I bought
tag?
tags from the dollar store for a reel, honestly, for like a little bonus zhuzh on the side. And that's why I got them from the dollar store. I used to buy props all the time to like photograph. My how times have changed. Because I used to like food photography. So you'd like it was a fall recipe threw those fake leaves in there. And I'm like, God, ew, why did I do that? I have a $60 marble slab. I still use all the time, but like it was bought for food photography.
Yeah, sometimes I think about buying something like that just for a background, just because our countertops are not pretty
Yeah. I'm
and
actually
stuff.
grateful because our countertops are fine, but they're really far from the window. So there's never any light. So I could not
Mm,
take pictures.
yeah.
And like I've had it for a really long time and I lived in places with really ugly countertops. So like it was worth the $60. It's also like 30 pounds. So it's so freaking heavy when you're carrying it. When we move, you have to just carry that every single time we do. And everyone's like, oh, what is this? And I'm like, my marble slab.
Yeah. What I should go is to go to one of these like countertop or
You
tile
should.
places and see if they have like a leftover piece or something.
That's what I've heard that you can get those for super cheap. I got mine from
Hmm.
Crate and Barrel, but like
Yeah.
I've heard that those are even better, which maybe one day, but like how many marble slabs does one person need in their life?
Eventually just have the house with the marble.
One day I will get the countertop that is so aesthetically pleasing that I don't even want this marble slab anymore.
Yep.
And the lighting will be great. But for now, it actually is great in here because the lighting, like, it's just too far from the window. The lighting's literal garbage in there.
Mm-hmm.
The ring light doesn't do the same thing.
You don't even have to do marble anymore now. You can just do that epoxy stuff and it's so much cheaper. And it
I've
looks
heard
just
that.
like the marble. My cousin did that in their house. It looks great.
Or I can just get one to match the slab and just shove it in there and we'll
Piece it together.
just piece it together. I was like, I already spent the money on this. Might as well go for the gold. No, it's fine.
Uh,
All right. You got anything else you want to talk about?
I don't think so. I think
You know,
we're
I could talk about
about an
anything and
hour.
everything. So
I don't know. You could go all day.
ask me about my wiener. Remember that from that movie? Accepted. That's what it was. It was the commercial. Oh my God. I've I it's running through my head rent free forever. It's just the guy that goes, ask me about my wiener. And he's wearing an Oscar Mayer hot dog suit. And it's because he was like in a frat and like forced to do that. Not a good movie. Justin Long, one of those, trash, funny, whatever. They make up like a
Uh,
fake school.
mhm.
In case you're wondering what runs through my mind 24/7.
I was just thinking the things that come out of your mouth sometimes are so funny because they're just like so random.
Stream of consciousness, baby. Oh, and this is like toned down. Like you should actually hear me when I'm the only person I'm actually freely flowing 24/7 is Dan, because even my family's like, what are you saying? And doesn't get my references,
No
but
wonder
he's
his
heard
brain's
them.
so bogged down.
Poor
Poor
guy.
guy.
No, he actually gets all the references because we like have the same taste for like stupid movies and stuff like that. So every time I'm saying something, he'll like keep going with the line. I'm like, oh God, this is why we're meant to be. Cause you, everything, you don't even doubt it. You finish the line for me. Like you get it. It's hard to be in here sometimes.
Uh,
So, where can the people find you?
you can find me at Emily Joy Wellness, Instagram, website, YouTube. What about you?
At the Rudin Health, THE Rudin Health, Instagram, website. I don't really do TikTok much anymore. I kind of forgot it existed for a while. So maybe we'll come back one day.
And if you liked the rambling episode, that has been our trend of late.
We're going to get another guest on because everyone loved that.
Yeah, everyone loved
Erica was
that
great.
episode. I got a ton of like feedback and people were really excited about hearing what a doula had to say. So
So good.
yeah, go check out Erica's episode if you want to hear that. But yeah, hopefully after the holidays we can start having some more guests on
We
regularly.
will. We totally will. We'll get some for like January because December's a shit show.
Yeah, December's a little wild, so we will see. But rate, subscribe, leave us a review. Let us know how much you liked it on
We
Instagram.
appreciate you.
We do. And we will see you in the next episode.